let me turn things over now to our reader of stage directions, BA. And if you could just have the cast members introduce themselves and say who they're playing and where they're from, that would be great. And we have a few celebrities in the audience tonight. I don't know if they want to be introduced or not, but we do have some celebrities in the house. So,
alrighty. Well, I'll start with me. My name is B.A. Chicolella. I live in Norfolk, Virginia, and today I will be playing the part of the stage directions. Alrighty. How about we pass it to... I don't know if I have all the right names here, so...
Yeah, better do it by character names. And people.
Yeah, why don't we find Erasmus?
Told you. Hi, my name is Mason, and I'm from Hamilton, Ontario.
Awesome. All right. How about Anne?
Hi, I'm playing Anne. My name is Ella Kennedy, and I am also from Hamilton, Ontario.
How about Thomasina?
Hi, my name's Kaya Hoagland, and I'm from Roanoke, Virginia.
Oh, fabulous. Alrighty, Bartholomew.
Hi, I'm Bartholomew. I'm Scott Cooper from Waterloo, Ontario.
Do we have Susan in the house?
Hi, my name's Emily Bollier, and I'm playing Susan. I'm from Hamilton, Ontario.
Do we have Emma?
Hi, I'm Emma. Oh no, I'm Giselle. I'm Giselle. I'm also from Hamilton, Ontario.
That acting's popular in Hamilton.
All right, how about Toby?
Hi, I'm William Thompson. I'm playing Toby, and I am also from Hamilton, Ontario.
I'm sensing a pattern. How about Olivia?
Hi, I'm Irene Keeney, and I'm from Memphis, Tennessee.
Sweet. All right, I lost my track, please. Okay, Roger.
Hello, I'm Stephen Baltz, and I'm from Christiansburg, Virginia.
Awesome. All right, do we have Joan, the stage manager?
Hi, I'm Arlene, and I'm from Kitchener, Ontario, which is quite close to Hamilton, Ontario. And I am playing Joan, the stage manager. And it's close to Waterloo, Ontario, too. Scott.
Nice. How about Hortense, the director?
Hi, I'm Cheryl Carter, and I'm probably supposed to push something that I don't know I'm supposed to push. Is there a button that makes you bigger, or I don't know. But I'm Cheryl Carter. I'm in Lynchburg, Virginia, and I've got my director's hat on. So I shall be Hortense.
Fabulous. Do we have the Royal Herald?
Hi, I'm Heather Sexton, and I'm from Salem, Virginia, and I will be the Royal Herald.
Now we're looking for a plague doctor. Is there a doctor in the house?
Hi, my name's Aisha Mitchell, and I'm from Radford, Virginia.
Awesome. And I think that should be everyone. Did I get to everybody, Dwayne? Does that sound right? Awesome. All righty, shall we hop in? Everybody ready? The time and place. England in the early 1600s, in the tiny village of Little Moldingham-on-Cheese. It's early December, and some of the townspeople are attempting to organize their annual Christmas pageant. Joan, the stage manager, enters, dragging, with much difficulty, a trunk. Feel free to have as much physical humor as you wish with this, grunting, groaning, wheezing, etc. Finally, the stage manager gets the trunk in place and sits on it, catching his or her breath. After a sufficient rest, the stage manager calls out.
All right, everybody, come and get your costumes.
Joan, the stage manager, opens the trunk. In a perfect world, a moth flutters out. Joan waves a hand back and forth to indicate that something stinks.
Oh, don't blame me if they're half moth-eaten. The stage manager last year didn't put them away properly. Wait a minute, I was the stage manager last year. Oh, never mind. The moths are there on purpose, to keep out the rats.
Joan, the stage manager, reaches into the trunk and pulls out a skull.
Oh, I sure hope this is from the production we did of Hamlet. Either that or I guess we finally know what happened to that actor who never showed up at rehearsal.
Joan, the stage manager, stuffs the skull back into the trunk and exits. A peasant named Erasmus enters, spots the trunk, and goes towards it.
Oh!
Erasmus roots through the trunk and pulls out a costume and puts it on. The costume of a snowflake. The peasant admires himself or herself, while Anne enters, spots the trunk, and also runs towards it and puts on the costume of another snowflake.
I am the most perfect snowflake to ever fall upon the village of Little Moldingham-on-Cheese.
Now Anne shows off.
Well, I am the most perfect snowflake ever to fall on Elizabethan England.
I am the most perfect snowflake ever to fall upon England since William the Conqueror did his conquering thing.
Well, I am the most perfect snowflake to fall upon England since there ever was an England.
And I am the most perfect snowflake to fall upon England since there was such a thing as snow. So there.
Well, I am the most perfect most perfect snowflake to ever fall upon. Wait, you can't wear that.
And why not? Last year I had to be a tree. And the tree doesn't do anything. It just stands there like this through the whole show.
Erasmus acts out being a tree.
And at least, if I'm a snowflake, I get to move around like this. See? I get to flutter down like the sky and fall down upon the ground. I might even get to do a dramatic death scene or melt or something like this.
Erasmus falls to the ground and starts acting out a dramatic death scene.
Oh! I'm melting! Melting! That this too solid flesh would melt and resolve itself into a dew. Shakespeare wrote that, in Hamlet. The director last year said if I kept acting the way I did, someday I'd get to play the part of Yorick. Don't know which one Yorick is, but it must be a pretty big part. Not as big as Hamlet, or the play would be called Yorick, but still big enough to have an actual name and not just third tree from the left. Or was it right? I can't remember. I always get that mixed up, the whole stage right, stage left thing.
You fell asleep.
Well, it's hard being a peasant all day and an actor all night.
On stage.
Well, there's really not much space backstage.
During a show.
Well, it's not like I missed any lines.
If only you had missed something else.
I don't think that was my fault. Exactly. It's hard to see out of the tree costume. All those leaves were in my eyes, and I didn't hold my thumb out like that when I was turned around. I accidentally brushed against one little thing.
It was a candlestick holder.
I thought I recovered nicely. I don't think anyone really noticed.
You set your costume on fire.
I thought it was unusually warm for that time of year.
You flamed up like a Yule log.
See? I stayed in character.
You could have stayed put until we could douse you with a bucket of water.
Erasmus reaches into the trunk and produces a bucket filled with glitter.
You mean this one?
Erasmus demonstrates the bucket. Only glitter comes out.
You know that's not real water, right?
Could have done the old stop, drop and roll.
It's not my fault we live in an age without automatic sprinkler systems.
Instead, you had to fling yourself right into the middle of the manger scene.
They shouldn't have had any flammable material around on stage. I'm pretty sure that's a fire code regulation. Not that we have fire codes in the 1600s.
Those flammable materials you were speaking of were sheep. Live sheep.
I never knew sheep could run that fast. Roast of mutton coming up.
You set the theatre on fire.
Technically speaking, I think the sheep did that. I think they really were the ones you should blame, and not me.
All because of the third tree from the left.
Well, it's not my fault. In the 1600s, we were still using candlesticks on stage. Maybe someday there will be a proper lighting system that doesn't revolve around flame. Maybe someday people won't get so excited when someone yells, "Fire!" in a crowded theatre. Maybe someday I'll play Yorick.
Anne pulls out the skull from the trunk.
This is Yorick.
Oh.
And it wasn't exactly a crowded theatre. Not after that opening night review. What was it the theatre critic said now?
You don't have to remind me.
No, I insist. I believe he said something to the effect of, the manger scene was particularly unrealistic, especially the costumes for the camels.
I wasn't the one who thought we could get away with pillowcases tied onto the back of a mule.
And the decision to use a live goat on stage was bold, but ultimately unsuccessful directorial decision.
That wasn't a goat. That was Bartholomew. He just likes to chew on things.
But the entire production was irreparably marred by the third tree from the left, who spent the entire show performing what can only be described in polite company as a bizarre interpretive dance that brought to mind a chicken with its head cut off. Except this particular performance, if one can call it that, would have been immeasurably improved if the actor's head had actually been separated from his body.
I had head lice, okay? They itch.
So you ruined opening night. Then, on the second night, you burned down the theatre. It's a good thing there wasn't a third night, or you'd have either burned down the whole town or infected us with parasites.
Next time we have a theatre critic, I'm in the house on opening night. I'll burn down the theatre then. Maybe then he'll get trapped in the melee. How is Lord Mayor, by the way? Did he ever fully recover? Because he promised to have my portrait drawn.
He promised to have you drawn and quartered.
Oh, that kind of drawn. So what does the quartered part mean?
How about you just stand over there and be the third tree from the left again? And this time, try not to burn anything down.
But I don't want to be a tree again. I want to be a snowflake.
But I want to be a snowflake.
And what's so special about you? And you get to be a snowflake?
Well, for starters, I didn't burn down the theatre last year.
Oh, one little mistake and they never let you forget it.
Unlike your lines.
I didn't forget my lines.
Oh, really now?
Oh, right. The year before that, the big scene where well, you know.
Yeah, we all know.
I thought the improvised song and dance routine I came up with was a real showstopper.
Oh, and it definitely stopped the show. Just like you could say last year's show was a real barn burner.
Erasmus reaches into the trunk and produces a top hat and cane, then breaks into the traditional song and dance routine of Hello My Baby, which is in the public domain.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my bright-eyed gal. Send me a kiss by one. Baby, you light my fire. If you refuse me, honey, you'll lose me. Then you'll be left alone. Oh, baby, telephone and tell me I'm your own.
Erasmus ends the song and dance routine with the classic big flourish.
Pretty cutting edge, I thought, especially since ragtime hasn't been invented yet, or the telephone either. Granted, maybe not the most conventional choice of a Christmas pageant, but definitely beats the melody of the Gregorian chants, right?
Anne glares.
Right?
Anne glares.
Guess that's how I wound up the tree from the left then.
You're lucky you didn't end up as firewood, although maybe we'd have been better off if you had.
I'm not exactly making a good case for why I should be promoted to Snowflake this year, am I?
No, you're not.
Why can't we both be snowflakes? We have 2 costumes, and they match.
Why not? Because no 2 snowflakes are the same.
Oh, but these are. See?
Erasmus indicates the snowflake costume. Thomasina enters.
What are you two doing?
We're apparently comparing snowflake costumes.
Snowflakes.
Yeah, you know, the white stuff that comes floating down out of the sky, piles up in snowdrifts, occasionally turns to a blizzard.
I know what snowflakes are.
Don't you think I'd make a good one? See?
Quite possibly, except for one thing.
What's that? Not the thing about burning down the theatre again, is it?
That's not a snowflake.
Of course it's a snowflake. See? It's got the little pointy things here, and some down here.
Those are the stage curtains that the mice got into.
Ew. Erasmus and Anne rip off the snowflake costumes.
That's not to say that they can't be snowflake costumes.
Erasmus runs, screaming.
Soap! Soap! I need soap!
Erasmus exits. Anne and Thomasina look at each other and smile.
These are totally snowflake costumes.
Anne and Thomasina congratulate each other and put the snowflake costumes on and exit. Bartholomew enters. Bartholomew is clearly not bright, but he does like to eat and stand on top of things. Bartholomew sniffs the air.
You know, I smell something. I smell cheese.
Bartholomew runs to the trunk. He stops and takes a deep breath for opening it.
Oh, cheddar, maybe. Oh, provolone. Maybe some brie. Oh, I love some brie.
Bartholomew opens the trunk and is bitterly disappointed.
Oh, no cheese. Just mice.
Bartholomew pulls out a mouse and holds it up by the tail. He is clearly contemplating whether to eat it. Horatio/Hortense, the director, enters, clipboard in hand, and shouts. Joan, the stage manager, follows.
People, everyone gather round.
Bartholomew flings the mouse back into the trunk, slams the lid shut, and sits on the trunk.
Hurry up, chop chop. We haven't got all day. Come on now, come on. Step to it. We're burning daylight. All right, maybe not the best choice of words considering what happened last year. Hello? Is anyone paying attention here? Your director's trying to talk to you. How do they expect me to work under these conditions?
Joan. Suddenly, the cast, except for Harold and the Plague Doctor and Roger, rush in. Hortense stares at Anne and Thomasina, who are wearing the snowflake costumes.
Where? Where?
Did someone say free food?
Out of my way! Out of my way!
Are there vegan options? I hope there are vegan options.
I got a family of 14 starving children at home to feed. If I can't get enough to take home to, then I'll have to turn to highway robbery and other dishonest professions. Like politics.
What are you talking about? You don't have any children at home.
Oh, this is your first show, isn't it? You're so cute. Out of my way! Out of my way! If I don't get something to eat, I can't be responsible for any of my actions!
No, the only reason they feed us backstage is because it keeps us too busy to organize ourselves into a peasants' uprising that would bring down the entire medieval class system that we're still laboring under. All this food is just another trick by the ruling class to subjugate the peasant class to their will.
Is that really true?
Oh yes, if you eat their food, you're simply collaborating with your own oppressors.
Wow, I never thought of it that way.
Good. If it makes you feel any better, I'll be happy to take yours.
Hey! Where's the free food?
Later. The director wants to say something.
Oh man, tricked again!
See? What did I tell you? It's all a part of their plan.
Yo, bait and switch!
Oh, I hear cheese makes pretty good bait. Not that I know anything about mice. Oh, but I know all about cheese.
Thank you. So, I've called you all together to talk about this year's Christmas pageant. As you know, we all...
Hortense spots Anne and Thomasina.
What are you two wearing?
We're snowflakes.
See?
You look like you're wearing a bunch of moth-eaten, mice-infested stage curtains.
Anne and Thomasina look at each other.
But you said...
They look like snowflakes to me. You know, suspension of disbelief and all that.
The last time we tried to suspend something, the stagehand holding the Christmas star accidentally dropped the thing right in the audience and knocked the entire front row unconscious. What was the name of the fool that did that?
Actually, as I recall, they'd fallen asleep during Act 1, so I don't know that you can really say that they were knocked unconscious.
You!
Some of them were snoring so loudly that the actors missed their cues.
I thought I told you. I never wanted to see you anywhere near this Christmas pageant ever again.
That's why I'm over here in the corner. Or is that still too close?
Anything on this side of the English Channel is too close as far as I'm concerned.
And yet you still cast him last year anyway.
Ugh, we were running short of trees. What can I say?
Maybe if we'd made the star out of something lighter than those iron rods we used, although I must say it did make quite an impression when it fell. Mostly on people's heads, you know. If all those people just wore hats, I don't think you'd be able to tell at all.
Erasmus, have you brought anything to this pageant but trouble and chaos from the very beginning?
That's not so. That one year, I brought snacks for everyone before the show.
See, what did I tell you? Now they've even indoctrinated some peasants to carry out their evil schemes for them.
I thought that would help lift people's spirits before the show night. Nothing like a big piping hot bowl of gruel to warm up the belly and loosen up the vocal cords.
Hortense glares.
Right. That was the year of the food poisoning incident. But that's probably circumstantial evidence. I left that gruel sticking out for at least a week to make sure it was fresh.
Is it? You keep finding a way to worm your way into this show.
Not the word I would have chosen.
I'll deal with you later. So, do we have everybody?
Hortense counts off cast members by calling their names. Cast members might want to raise their hand to signify they're present. This is effectively the only way to indicate who is who for most of the characters name-wise.
Anthony, Anne, Thomasina, Susan, not you, Emma, Toby, Olivia, Bartholomew. Oh, right, good, good. So, I want to talk about this year's Christmas pageant in wake of
Hortense glares at Erasmus.
the problems we had last year.
You mean the fire? Oh, yeah, that was awesome. Whoosh, whoosh. I thought it was all part of the show until everybody started stampeding out. And that was just the actors.
So, the good news is that despite last year's incident, the town has once agreed to allow our troupe to perform a Christmas pageant in the town square.
I can't believe they agreed to let us do that. Are you serious? People will come out for miles to see us. They're all hoping for a repeat.
So that's why the town passed an admissions tax.
Ka-ching! Although that's more like the sound of a cash register, and there are no cash registers in rural England in the 1600s, so what do I know?
I know, we were promised food.
The bad news is we've lost almost all of our costumes.
Except for the snowflakes, or moth-eaten, mice-infested curtains. Whichever.
We've also lost almost all our props.
We've still got a skull. We could do Hamlet.
Everyone glares.
Okay, I'll admit, Hamlet isn't exactly your traditional Christmas fare, but we could just imagine a few lines and make it work.
Erasmus acts out Hamlet.
To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether this nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, such as a bad review from a theatre critic who wouldn't know his dramatic pause from another actor who forgot his lines, or to take once again to the stage to perform our favourite show, to die, to sleep, to more. Not like the people who were nodding off an opening scene, to sleep, perchance to dream. Aye, there's a rub. For we are but poor actors out in the provinces. A poor player that struts and frets his hour upon stage and then is heard no more.
Hour? I wish I had an hour on stage. Last year I only had one line.
But soft, what light through yonder window break?
Oh, I think that light was probably the fire. I know some people backstage who had to break a window to get out.
It is the east, and Juliet is the sun, or possibly the Christmas star.
Wow. Just wow.
You like that? It's my own interpretation.
You just managed to conflate Hamlet and Macbeth and Romeo and Juliet into a single play.
It's a talent.
You know what I call it?
Riveting. Spellbinding. Must-see theatre.
A tale told by an idiot, signifying nothing.
Oh, that's not good, right? That doesn't sound good.
Now, here's the worst news of all.
You mean worse than burning down our theatre and most of our props and costumes?
We've also lost all of our scripts.
Oh, well, that's not so bad, is it? I mean, we all remember our lines from last year, right?
Everybody glares.
Oh, right.
I remember mine. Oh, wait, I didn't have any.
But not to worry, I have a plan.
When the director says not to worry because they have a plan, you don't have to worry.
Oh, good, because I was afraid there for a moment.
That's when you should go into a full-scale freak-out, like this.
Olivia.
We're all doomed!
Are you quite finished?
Sure. Carry on. It doesn't sound like it'll matter anyway. After all, we're all doomed.
Doomed. On the contrary, we will be in even better shape than we were before.
And unicorns will fly through the skies.
That's absurd. Unicorns don't fly. You're thinking of Pegasus.
I have certain connections, shall we say, in London, and I have made arrangements with a certain well-known playwright to write a script just for us. Now, I'm not at liberty to say his name.
She's just being dramatic.
But his initials are William Shakespeare.
You've hired William Shakespeare to write a Christmas play?
Well, I won't exactly say hired. It's more of an understanding, if you will.
Or a misunderstanding.
Sort of a gentleman's agreement.
There was no agreement.
Kind of a wink, wink, nudge, nudge situation.
There was no winking or nudging.
Fine. I wrote him a fan letter and he hasn't said no. How else would you interpret that?
I'm just the stage manager. I only deal with the real world.
I'm sure he's just busy putting the finishing touches on it right now.
Oh, I can see it now. Richard III, redone as a Christmas play. Or Midsummer Night's Dream becomes Midwinter's Night's Dream. The fairy puck gets transformed into a hockey puck.
It gets cold in the winter. Better set it by day.
Wait, I know. Henry V. Oh, for a muse of fire.
Very funny.
Actually, Henry V is a drama.
I don't care. As long as there's free food.
That would be Twelfth Night, if music be food of love. Play on! Strike up the band.
Any actors playing peasants who can play instruments, pick them up and play, or sing, or both. A short, royalty-free Christmas song, such as We Wish You a Merry Christmas.
1, 2, 3.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
Oh, good
We
Lord.
wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
And a New Year.
Are you quite done? Quite done.
Encore, maybe. Maybe. Who wants an encore?
Erasmus works the crowd to cheer for an encore. Encore, encore.
See? They want an encore. Hit it.
The musically inclined peasants play and or sing another royalty-free Christmas song, such as Deck the Halls.
Deck the halls.
Deck the
La 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly. Fa la 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 la. Don we now our gay apparel. Fa la 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 la. Patrol the ancient Yuletide carol. Fa la 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 la. See the blazing Yule before us. Fa la 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 la. Strike the harp and join the chorus. Fa la 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 la.
And peasants take their bow.
Woo! That was very appropriate.
Thank you. I thought so too.
Especially that part about the blazing Yule.
Oh, it's more like to see the blazing Yule behind us once we all got out. We did all get out, didn't we?
Sometimes I wish some of us hadn't.
Roger enters, holding a letter.
Hortense, Hortense.
I'm right here. You don't need to shout. But you do project very well. So yes, please do go ahead and shout.
I've got a letter for you from London.
A letter from London? Oh, for me, I wonder who that could be. Oh, it must be from you know who.
The royal executioner, maybe, with a warrant for a certain local arsonist named Erasmus.
Look, there's his name right there on the return address. I've done it. I've got a letter from William Shakespeare. I know he's going to say yes. I just know it. How could he possibly tell us no?
Quite easily, I suspect.
We're going to have a Christmas play by Shakespeare. A world premiere of a Christmas play by Shakespeare. Oh, I can feel it in my bones.
If that's what you're feeling in your bones, you may want to see a doctor.
Oh, I'm too excited to read this. Here, you read it. You read this.
Me?
Completely unrealistic. The literacy rate in Elizabethan England is 5% for women and 15% for men. You can't just hand a letter to some random peasant and expect them to be able to read it.
Hey, I'm not a random peasant.
Oh, you look pretty random to me.
That's me, then. Random Roger. Kind of has a nice ring to it, don't you think?
It's how the aristocracy keeps us down. What's the point of publishing a revolutionary manifesto if nobody can read it?
Oh, go on. What's it say? Read it to everyone. Oh, history in the making.
All right.
Roger starts to read the letter.
Remember, use your diaphragm.
My dear Hortense.
See, my dear, I'm a dear to him.
I am in receipt of your recent communication where you inquired whether I would be receptive to writing a Christmas play for the poor players of Little Maldingham-on-Cheese.
That's us. Oh, that's us. We're definitely poor players.
I wonder how he means poor.
I refer you to the words of Hamlet, Act 3, Scene 3, line 87.
Hamlet! That's one of the big ones.
Act 3, Scene 3, line 87. Act 3, Scene 3, line 87.
Hamlet's one of my favorite ones. I wonder why he never wrote a sequel to Hamlet.
Maybe because everyone dies in the end?
Way to spoil the ending there.
Erasmus goes looking for a copy of Shakespeare's plays.
Act 3, Scene 3, line 87. Act 3, Scene 3, line 87.
In closing, I am your humble servant, W. Shakespeare.
Oh, humble servant. Did you hear that? He's our humble servant.
Ever met a servant who wasn't humble? All the ones weren't humble that I know wound up on the executioner's block.
P.S. Enclosed, please find a glossy 8x10 that I have personally autographed, suitable for framing.
A glossy 8x10! I've no idea what that means, but it sounds impressive. Doesn't that sound impressive?
Does anybody have a copy of Shakespeare's collected works laying around?
We're peasants in the early 1600s. Of course we have the collected works of William Shakespeare lying around.
Oh, you mean that big heavy thing? Doorstop thing? Sure.
Bartholomew picks up a copy of Shakespeare's work that has been serving as a doorstop and hands it to Erasmus.
Act 3, Scene 3, line 87? Yeah, Act 3, Scene 3, line 87.
What's it say? What's it say? Oh, I can't wait. Shakespeare's going to write us a Christmas play. What's it say?
No.
Hortense, the director, acts out a sword fight.
I wonder if it'll have a sword fight. I like the ones with sword fights. A sword fight might not sound very Christmassy, but I bet Shakespeare could make it work. What do you mean, no?
I mean the line, no.
No what? Oh, there's got to be more to it than just that. Like, I know this will be a box office smash, or I know this will be the biggest thing since Henry VI parts 1, 2, and 3. I don't see why he wrote that so many times, but those last few kind of dragged, if you ask me.
I mean no, as in no!
You mean no, as in he's saying he won't do it?
I'm saying that Hamlet thinks about killing his uncle and is debating back and forth whether he should. And then, finally, by line 87, he says, no.
Hamlet always did take a long time to make up his mind.
So I wonder who Shakespeare is thinking about killing.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
So, what are we going to do now?
I don't really care what we do now, but is there any food?
Hey, at least he didn't say Richard III, Act 1, Scene 2, line 332.
What's that say?
Out of my sight! Thou dost infect mine eyes!
Oh, there was one other thing.
What's that? Maybe he referred us to Christopher Marlowe? Wait, no, I'd settle for a Christmas play by Christopher Marlowe.
Marlowe's dead.
Oh, well, one of those other big name London playwrights then. Not that I can name any, but what was that you meant by one other thing?
There's a royal messenger on the way.
A royal messenger? But what would a royal messenger want with us here in little Modigamon-Cheese?
Probably just a fancy word for tax collector.
Tax collector? Uh-oh. Excuse me, I'll be right back. Like, maybe in a couple of years?
Thomasina starts to exit, but doesn't get far.
Uh-oh.
What do you mean, uh-oh?
I mean, you'll see.
You'll see what? Oh!
The royal herald enters. The herald is accompanied by a plague doctor in the traditional plague doctor costume. It looks like a giant crow.
Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. I am the Royal Herald.
Is your name really Harold, or did it just work out that way? I mean, because if that's how it worked out, that would mean I'd be the Royal Bartholomew.
Everyone glares. Plague doctor uses his stick to poke at Bartholomew.
Oh, what? I just asked a question.
Gather around to hear a royal proclamation.
All gather around the herald, but not too close.
Not that much around. Space yourself out some. A little more still. Come on, you can't really be that friendly, can you? 6 feet apart in all directions.
The plague doctor moves among the players, measuring how far apart they are. He carries a stick and pokes at the players to move them further apart.
Hey! Easy with that, mister.
Like this guy. You want to stage manage our next show? I think you might have a real talent for prodding people.
The plague doctor pokes the stage manager.
Ow!
Nice costume. I think I like that better than being a snowflake. Mind if I...
Anne reaches to feel the beak. The plague doctor uses the stick to smack his hand away.
Yes, you do. Ouch.
All right then. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. A royal decree for the people of insert name of town.
The plague doctor stamps his stick on the ground.
Oh, right. I mess that up every time. What's the name of this place?
Little molding ham on cheese.
Right. Moldy ham on cheese.
No, not moldy ham on cheese. Molding ham on cheese. You need to enunciate.
The plague doctor approaches Hortense with the stick.
On the other hand, I don't suppose it really matters. You just go on, read your proclamation thing.
Ahem. As I was saying, a royal decree for the people for the moldy ham on cheese. Whereas the plague now runneth rampant through the kingdom.
The plague? There's a plague?
Plague, pestilence, pandemic.
Nobody told me there was a plague.
Also commonly known as a contagion. Infection, sickness.
Why do you think we're all wearing masks?
Oh, these things? I just thought that they were the latest fashion from London. You know, like a codpiece for the face.
The grip, the bug, the crud.
I found a bug in my soup once, but he didn't seem to mind. He just swimming around, and round as happy could be.
The outbreak, the eruption, the scourge.
Okay, I get it.
I think that's what we're all afraid of.
Yeah, well, I tried wearing a cod once, but that was certainly an ordeal. Of course, there was an actual codfish.
The indisposition, the infirmity, the disorder.
Can you hurry it up? I'm hungry. Somebody promised us free food.
The transmission, the miasma, as I said it? Miasma? Yeah.
Miasma.
The miasma.
I think he's slowing down. He only had 2 there.
The affliction, the vexation, the ordeal.
Guess not.
This is definitely an ordeal to listen to all of these things.
Syndrome, the condition, the toxoid.
At least we get to learn some new words.
I'm not sure we want to know some of these words.
Maybe I shouldn't have asked a fishmonger for fashion advice.
The plague doctor pokes Bartholomew with the stick.
Hey, that thing's sharp.
Unlike some people we know.
In summary,
Oh, thank goodness.
all forms of the baleful ailment, condition, or disease that is now running its course across the land.
All right, guess we've got that wrapped up.
Sorry. I think he's just getting started, actually.
Including, but not limited to, all associated maladies, complaints, and fevers.
I have a complaint. Oh, it's not a sickness, anything, it's just a complaint. My neighbor's roosters always wake me up in the morning when they crow. Could we pass an ordinance making it illegal for them to crow in the morning? I need my beauty sleep.
The plague doctor pokes Emma with the stick.
Maybe I'll learn to live with it.
Therefore, it has been so decreed, ordered, ordained.
Here we go again.
Declared, announced, proclaimed.
Do we need to write all these down? Is there going to be a test or something?
That all subjects are hereby commanded, directed, required, etc., so forth and so on.
Whew. I don't think I could have taken much more of that.
To keep a distance of at least 6 feet from one another.
No, I don't have a problem with people staying 6 feet from me.
That's because you live in a barn.
Well, technically, it's a pigsty.
Accordingly, all revels, plays, pageants, and other entertainments are hereby cancelled until further notice. Signed, well, never mind, you know who signed it.
Sold? Wait, did you say cancelled?
Cancelled, scrubbed, scrapped. Shall I go on?
No.
Oh.
Good. My throat's getting a little scratchy. You have no idea how hard it is to say the same thing all day long, over and over and over, and maybe I'll just stop there.
But you can't cancel our Christmas pageant.
I think he just did.
Hey, I'm just the messenger here.
So was I, and they didn't like what I had to say either.
Not that there was much left to cancel, since we don't have any scripts or costumes.
Anne shows off the costumes.
Hey, snowflakes.
Like I said.
But what are we going to do without our Christmas pageant?
Don't know, not my problem.
We've always had a Christmas pageant. People look forward to it all year long.
Well, maybe not the Lord Mayor after he got trampled last year.
So, what do you say we call it a day? I'm going to head down to the local tavern and knock back a few.
Hot tea and lemon would be far better for your throat.
I'm not talking about drinking. I'm talking about the locals. They think they're so tough. Always want to impress the new guy from London. I'll show them. Bam! Right in the kisser. Come on, Doc, let's go.
The Royal Herald signals to the plague doctor and they move towards the exit, but don't exit yet. It should be a long way from where they are to where they're intending to exit.
Sorry, folks. You heard him. May as well go back to your tedious, meaningless lives. You've nothing left to live for.
Maybe if the Christmas pageant were that dramatic, more people would come out to see it.
So, where do I file my expense report? I did run up some expenses on the trip to London and back, you know.
So, does this mean I won't get to be a snowflake? Because I was really hoping to be a snowflake.
Well, does this mean we won't be having live animals on stage again? Because people totally loved last year when those sheep caught fire.
Does this mean we won't have any Christmas plays this year? Because if I don't have a Christmas pageant, then how do I even know it's Christmas?
Does this mean there won't be any free food backstage? Because I'm all about the free food.
8.
What? There's free food after all?
Not you, him, or her.
Joan, the stage manager, points to the plague doctor.
Whoever is under that get-up. Hey, plague doctor, come here.
The plague doctor turns around and points to him or herself as to say, me?
Yes, you.
Up to you, Doc. You can stay if you want. I'm going to hit the hay. And anybody who gets in my way.
The Royal Herald shows off some boxing moves and exits. At some point, the Herald enters, unseen, and takes a seat out in the audience.
What are you doing?
You'll see.
The pageant's lost, abolished, eliminated.
Now she's as bad as that Harold.
Oh, woe is me, woe is woe. My life's work down the drain.
What's she talking about? She works at the bear pit the rest of the year.
If your job was dealing with angry bears every day, then our little Christmas pageant might look pretty good after all.
Well, guess you've got a point there.
The plague doctor pokes Toby with a stick.
Ah, not as sharp as his point, though.
Ruined. I am ruined.
Not as much as me. I was counting on something to eat here.
If you'd let me know, I could have brought you back something from London. Of course, I'd have probably eaten some of it on the way. Care for an apple? I found it lying in a street in London near the horse stable, so it's probably still good.
Roger offers a half-eaten apple. Susan ponders the offer.
Sure, why not? Looks like all I'm gonna get around here.
Joan, the stage manager, approaches the plague doctor.
So, Doc, may I call you Doc? Your herald said we have to stay 6 feet apart?
The plague doctor nods.
But he also said that all entertainments were cancelled.
The plague doctor nods.
So, let's suppose, for the sake of supposing, that we could hold a pageant with everyone 6 feet away.
Yeah, well, that doesn't sound very entertaining.
Exactly. So if it's not entertaining, then it wouldn't classify as entertainment, correct?
The plague doctor ponders this question.
Well, I have no idea where you're going with it. On the other hand, I have no idea about most things. But the flamingo sheep last year all have lots of ideas about them.
So, if we were to hold a Christmas pageant with everyone 6 feet apart, it wouldn't count as a pageant at all.
I'm really confused.
Therefore, we could hold a Christmas pageant after all. It just wouldn't be a Christmas pageant.
I'm definitely confused.
I'm not.
See? Problem solved.
I think Joan just found us a loophole. In another era, she might have been a lawyer. Or even worse, a lobbyist.
Thanks, Doc. You've been a big help. Maybe we can even find a part for you. You know, the strong, silent type. Or at least the silent type. You don't happen to have any hidden talents, do you? I suppose. Do you know? Like tap dancing? Something like that?
The plague doctor shakes head. No.
All right, guess not. Anyway, there you have it, people. The pageant's back on as long as we stay 6 feet apart. The plague doctor says so, or at least he doesn't say so.
You're forgetting one thing.
Sometimes I forget my own name.
We don't have any scripts, remember?
Yeah, the fire.
Whoosh! The sheep!
And all of our scripts. We don't have anything to perform.
Well, I could do some card tricks.
Dude, you cheat at cards.
That's the trick.
The plague doctor starts to exit. The stage manager stops him.
Not so fast, Doc. We're not done with you yet.
Oh, if only Shakespeare hadn't let me down.
Maybe he hasn't.
What do you mean?
I'm not going back to ask him a second time unless I get travel expenses up front.
Erasmus!
Me? What did I do?
More like, what didn't he do?
Why are you even still here? Didn't I tell you I didn't want to ever see you again?
I think that's pretty much everybody here.
I've been trying to hide in the back.
No more hiding.
Yeah, no more hiding.
Yeah, if it wasn't for you, we could be snowflakes right now. Well, that and the plague.
You know Shakespeare, right?
Well, not personally.
Apparently our director doesn't either.
But you've got a copy of his plays, right?
Right here, why?
Let me see that.
Erasmus hands the stage manager the book.
Complete works of William Shakespeare so far. Very good.
Joan, the stage manager, takes the book and rips out the pages and flings them into the air.
Hey, what are you doing?
There, all the works of Shakespeare so far.
You ruined it.
On the contrary, I just put them back in a different order and presto, you have a brand new work of Shakespeare. Our Christmas play is probably in there somewhere.
Erasmus starts picking up the pieces of paper.
Doesn't make any sense. Shakespeare hasn't written any Christmas plays.
Not in their present order. But maybe if Erasmus here puts them together in a different order, Shakespeare's written a Christmas play for us after all, and we just didn't realize it.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. Other than us not running Erasmus out of the town after what happened after last year's pageant.
Those sheep ran out of town. Fire in the hole! Fire in the hole! Was that when they fell into the cellar under the armory?
Ah, the armory full of gunpowder.
Kaboom!
Here we thought it was snow falling down, and it was really just wool.
Oh, yes, that was the best Christmas pageant ever, other than burning down a theatre and all that.
So, what do you say?
This might just work.
See? What? You're kidding, right? I was just kidding. You know I was trying to lighten the mood.
No, I've got this.
Oh, gosh.
Erasmus starts handing out pieces of script to everyone on stage except for Hortense.
Here, you say this. You say this. This one's for you. And you get this one too.
Erasmus comes to the stage manager.
This one's yours.
Wait a minute. I'm the stage manager. I don't have any lines.
You do now. And for you. And you.
Can I still be a snowflake?
Erasmus hands Anne a script.
You can be a snowflake.
All right, I'm a snowflake.
What about
What's your
me?
accent?
You can be a snowflake too.
Erasmus hands Thomasina a script.
All right, I'm in.
What about me?
No, you can't be a snowflake.
Oh, man.
You can be this.
Erasmus hands Bartholomew a script.
What? All right. I have no idea what this means.
And finally,
Erasmus has one script left. Erasmus looks around and sees the plague doctor.
this one's yours. All right, we're fully cast.
Looks like that's not the only thing that's full.
What do you mean?
Joan, the stage manager, points to the audience.
It looks like we have a full house, too.
What? Where did all these people come from?
Oh, nobody told me to take down the signs from last year, so they've been up all year. Town Christmas play, December. Date.
Good thing we've got the script, then.
But we haven't rehearsed anything.
They don't know that.
Well, they will once they see it.
Better think fast, then. Places, everybody!
All of the actors, except Hortense the director and Joan the stage manager, exit.
You're on in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Joan the stage manager signals go. Hortense the director addresses the audience.
Welcome to Little Moldingham on Cheese and our annual Christmas pageant. As you can see, we've had a few changes since last year, but we're glad you could be here with us tonight. We've got a special treat for you this year.
Hortense keeps looking to the stage manager for guidance, who gives a thumbs up and other signs of approval.
Instead of our traditional Christmas play, we have a new play for you tonight. Something produced especially for us. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you Shakespeare's Lost Christmas Play.
Hortense steps aside. Roger enters, dressed in winter garb and shivering. All the lines that follow come from Shakespeare. Some lines are shortened or used out of context to fit the purpose here, but they are still the words of Shakespeare.
The air bites shrewdly.
Susan and Olivia, also in winter garb and shivering. As Susan speaks, Anne and Thomasina enter, dressed as snowflakes. They dance about, indicating a snowstorm.
Here feel we but the penalty of Adam, the season's difference as the icy fang, and churlish chiding of the winter's wind, which, when it bites and blows upon my body, even till I shrink with cold, I smile.
Oh, when great leaves fall, the winter is at hand.
Anne and Thomasina realize they need a leaf, runs and gets some, and lets them fall.
Thus sometimes hath the brightest day a cloud, and after summer evermore succeeds barren winter with his wrath nipping cold, so cares and joys abound as seasons are fleet.
Now is the winter of our discontent.
What freezings I have felt, what dark days seen, what old December's baroness everywhere.
Bartholomew enters.
Oh, my belly's as cold as if I'd swallowed snowballs for pills.
This cold night will turn us all to fools and madmen.
In winter's tedious nights, sit by the fire with good old folks, and let them tell thee tales of woeful ages long ago betid.
Anne and Thomasina continue to dance around as snowflakes.
That is hot and ice and wondrous strange snow.
The spring, the summer, the chiding autumn, the angry winter.
Emma enters, distraught.
Blow, blow thou winter's wind, thou art not so unkind as man's ingratitude.
How now, spirit, whither wander you?
Fear no more the heat or the sun, nor the furious winter's rages. Thou the worldly task hast done, home art gone and taken thy wages. Golden lads and girls all must, as chimney sweepers, come to dust.
What is the matter? Keep peace here.
I, that never did weep, now melt with woe that winter should cut off our springtime so.
Erasmus enters, quite happy, dressed in holiday garb. Erasmus acts as a kind of master of ceremonies of the piece. Erasmus is very upbeat in a showman-like kind of way.
Prepare for mirth becomes feast.
He speaks holiday.
Small cheer and great welcome makes a merry feast.
I have of late, but wherefore I do not, lost all my mirth.
I wish you all that joy that you can wish.
When sorrows come, they not single spies, but as battalions.
Too much sadness hath congealed your blood.
That time of year thou mayst be and behold, when yellow leaves or none, or few, do hang upon these boughs which shake against the cold, bare ruined choirs, where late the birds sang. In me thou seest the twilight of such day.
Come what sorrow can, it cannot conveil the exchange of joy.
There's nothing in this world that can make me joy.
The miserable have no other medicine, but only hope.
It is a melancholy of mine own, compounded with many simples, extracted from many objects, and indeed the sundry contemplation of my travels, which, by rumination, wraps me in the most humorous sadness.
Toby enters, with flowers meant for Emma, whom he intends to woo.
I do not ask you much. I beg cold comfort.
Being holiday, the beggar's shop is shut.
Doubt thou the stars are fire. Doubt that the sun doth move. Doubt truth be a liar, but never doubt I love.
Fare you well, your suit is cold.
I would not wish any companion in the world but you.
Cold indeed, and labor lost, then farewell heat and welcome frost.
Toby presents Emma with the bouquet.
There's rosemary and rue. These keep seeming and savour all the winter long, grace and remembrance to you.
At Christmas, I no more desire a rose than wish a snow in May's now-fangled mirth.
A rose by any other name would smell as sweet.
Emma looks disapprovingly through the bouquet.
A barren, detested valley she is, overcome with moss and baleful mistletoe.
At mention of mistletoe, Emma starts to smile. She plucks out the mistletoe and holds it over her. Her mood is now completely changed.
Come, woo me for now. I am in a holiday humor and I like enough to consent.
I can express no kinder sign of love than this kind kiss.
Then come kiss me, sweet and 1020.
Erasmus steps forward to separate Emma and Toby before they can kiss.
Come, come. Be very one officious to make this banquet.
Shall we their fond pageant see?
Joan, the stage manager, enters with a burning cauldron and sets it on a table.
Double toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
I almost die for food, and let me have at it!
Speak this in hunger for bread.
Mine eyes smell onions.
Most dear actors, eat no onions nor garlic, for we are to utter sweet breath.
Joan, the stage manager, exits. The actors gather around to get something to eat, even the two snowflakes.
I'd rather have lived with cheese and garlic.
They call for dates and quince in the pastry.
Do you think because you are virtuous that there shall be no more cakes?
Anne and Thomasina continue eating, even as the others continue on with other tasks.
Look on me well. I have eaten no meat these 5 days.
What say you to a piece of beef and mustard?
She is hot because the meat is cold.
My salad days.
Sweets to the sweet.
5 newt and 10 a frog?
Now, my fairest friend, I had some flowers o' the spring that would become your time of day.
Joan, the stage manager, enters with a Christmas tree.
What wood is this before us?
The wood of Burnham.
Oh, great Burnham wood to hide Dunsinane Hill.
Joan, the stage manager, exits.
Under the greenwood tree, he loves to lie with me, and tune his merry note unto the sweet bird's throat. Come hither, come hither, come hither, no enemy here shall he see, but winter and rough weather.
This our life, exempt from public haunt, finds tongues in trees, books in the running brooks, sermons in stones, and good in everything.
One touch of nature makes the whole world kin.
Joan, the stage manager, enters with a box of lights and ornaments to put on the tree. Various actors join in to help.
Put forth thy hand, reach at the glorious gold.
Bedeck thy shape, thy love, thy wit. Thy noble shape is but a form of wax.
The appurtenance of welcome is fashion and ceremony.
Roger holds up an ornament.
Old fashions please me best. I am not so nice to change true rules for odd inventions.
Roger holds up an ornament that's not gold.
All that glitters is not gold.
Emma holds up an ornament shaped like the moon.
The moon of Rome, chaste as the icicle that's curded by the frost from purest snow.
Bartholomew flings icicles.
Oh, when icicles hang by the wall.
Susan moves an ornament that someone else has just put on the tree.
That ornament to shape in love, misshapen the conduct of them both.
Toby holds up the star and puts it on top of the tree, ascending a stepladder if necessary.
Oh, for a muse of fire that would ascend the brightest heaven of invention.
The peasants applaud and admire the tree.
I say there is no darkness but ignorance.
Joan, the stage manager, plugs in the lights and they come on.
Oh, but soft, what light through yonder window breaks.
How far that little candle throws his beams, so shines a good deed in a weary world.
Now, God be praised. that two believing souls give light in darkness, comfort in despair.
Love all, trust a few, do wrong to none.
Go draw aside the curtains and discover.
One of the peasants pulls back a curtain and discovers a box of wrapped Christmas presents.
Fortune reigns in gifts of the world.
Now make your choice.
The peasants take out the presents.
Heaven give you many, many merry days.
Emma reads the inscription on a present.
Who chooseth me shall gain what many men desire.
Toby reads the inscription on a present.
Who chooseth me shall get as much as he deserves.
Olivia reads the inscription on a present.
Who chooseth me must give and hazard all he hath.
It is worth the pains.
Before the year were playing holidays, to sport would be as tedious as to work.
Hark!
What say you?
Erasmus points outside.
Lawn as white as driven snow.
Anne and Thomasina, still eating, realize they need to be snowflakes again. They proceed to flutter about, trying to imitate snow.
Whiter than new snow on a raven's back.
How sweet the moonlight sleeps on this bank.
The moon shines bright in such a night as this, when the sweet wind might gently kiss the trees, and they did make no noise in such a night.
Play music, and you, brides and bridegrooms, with measure heaped in joy, to all measures fall.
The cast on stage, which would be all except Hortense, Harold, and the Plague Doctor, sing a Christmas song of your choosing. Or if you prefer, a subset of the cast sings while others look on. After the song, the royal herald jumps up in the audience and shouts.
That is entertainment.
Presumably, there's audience applause. After that, Hortense enters.
Our revels are now ended.
What? No more ceremony?
Yea, all which it inherit shall dissolve, and like this insubstantial pageant faded, leave not a rack behind.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
The Plague Doctor enters. Plague Doctor removes their headpiece and speaks.
If we shadows have offended, think but this, and all is mended, that you have but slumbered here, whilst these visions did appear, and this weak and idle theme, no more yielding, but a dream. Gentles, do not reprehend. If you pardon, we will mend. Else the puck, and as I am an honest puck, if we have unearned luck, now to scape the serpent's tongue, we will make amends ere long. Else the puck a liar call. So good night unto you all. Give us your hands if we be friends, and Robin shall restore amends.
The Plague Doctor bows. The end.
Yay.
Lovely, everyone.